I'd now like to introduce our first keynote presenter for today, Andy Mann. Andy is the Vice President of Business Unit Strategy in the Global Office of the CTO for CA Technologies. Andy has over 20 years' experience within IT departments, software vendors, and as a leading industry analyst. He has been widely published in the New York Times, USA Today, CIO, Computer World, and many more. He has presented worldwide on virtualization, cloud, automation, and IT management. Andy is the co-author of the popular handbook, Visible Ops Private Cloud. He blogs at pleasediscuss.com/AndyMann, and his Twitter handle is @AndyMann. In today's session, Andy will help you understand and answer the questions of how to survive and, most importantly, thrive in the application economy. So please join me in welcoming Andy to the stage.
I saw the future. The geeks were right.
Software is eating the world. So back in 2011, seminal article from Marc Andreessen. Marc Andreessen was the founder of Netscape. Some of you will recall that as essentially the company that made the World Wide Web accessible to most of us. He's gone on to found companies and sell them. He's now a venture capitalist in Silicon Valley. You should follow him at PMarker. Really interesting commentary on Twitter. His thesis was essentially that every single business, every part of human activity is being changed fundamentally by software. Everything from banking to sport to insurance to logistics, dining, entertainment. Software is changing the way we do everything. In business, Forrester has talked about this being the age of the customer. Focusing on customers, focusing on experience, focusing on the ability to do what your customer needs you to do is going to bring business into your business. And in the age of the customer, Forrester says, modern applications will rule the world. Because applications are turning into competitive advantage. Now, this is the software, the application that you use to run DirecTV, a satellite television service in the United States, similar to Foxtel, Optus here in Australia. Now, interestingly enough, when DirecTV go out and advertise their services, they don't advertise their programming. They don't advertise the quality of their picture. They don't advertise their channel selection. They advertise their software. You can take your tablet and view your content from anywhere. You can pull out your smartphone and program your DVR. You can transfer programming from your living room into your bedroom, into your study. It's all about the software. And that's a competitive advantage for DirecTV. And that's what they advertise. Similarly, in your car, applications are driving these new buying decisions. So this is the dashboard from a Ford motor car, and you might want to check out developer.ford.com because you can now start to program applications that go on the dashboard of your car. The new Dodge line will have a fully customizable dashboard. No physical dials, all digital. And if you want a tachometer on it, you can have a tachometer. If you want the oil pressure, you can have the oil pressure. If you just love speed, you can just have a speedo. Companies like Tesla, who we'll hear more about later on, are really owning the future and updating their cars via software. So, for example, Tesla recently had an issue where it was a bit of a launch control issue. Starting on a hill start, the car would drop back a little bit before it moved forward. Customers weren't happy with that. So what did Tesla do? They updated it in software. You can download an update to your machine in the middle of nowhere as long as you have a 3G connection. The sort of thing that you used to have to go to a dealer to do. But software applications are changing the way we drive. They're changing the way people buy. So my boss, his son was buying a car, buying a truck in fact, and went onto their website to try and customize the vehicle he wanted to buy. Very keen on this one brand, and I won't say why, but he got onto the website and couldn't use it. It was not functional for him. And within 5 minutes, he was on a different website buying a different truck because their software worked. Applications are driving these buying decisions. Similarly, companies like FedEx. FedEx are opening up their ecosystem to build their partnership relationships. You're able to take FedEx's capabilities and plug them straight into your website. So all of a sudden, with almost no work at all, you've got a full function logistics capability. So if you're in retail, wholesale, you're shipping anything, this is the API portal for customizing that capability and adding it into your own website. So FedEx is now a great partner to work with because they make it easy to pull their functionality into your website. In insurance, mobile applications are changing the way that people make claims and record accidents. As Hope said, I live in the United States. You probably can tell by my strong American accent, where I'm likely to hit a deer. Here, probably a kangaroo. So if you do that, if you get in an accident like that, you feel, upset. You want to start getting things right. So being able to pull out your cell phone, start typing in details, you also automatically know my insurance company is looking after me now. I've started the process of getting everything right again. I'm recording all the details really factually because I'm right there on the spot. I know where my car is, I know where the deer is, I know where the intersections are, and it's all happening right there. So the company, the insurance company, in this case it's State Farm Insurance, is benefiting from having the accurate details of that incident all recorded. They're able to start the claims process straight away. And as a customer, my experience of working with them is much better. I'm not waiting for forms. I'm not waiting to fill out, even on a website. I'm not trying to hassle on a website with a small factor phone. It's all happening right away. So the customer experience is better because I have access to that mobile application. And it's not just private enterprise. Governments are doing this as well. Governments are opening up, creating applications, allowing citizens to create their own applications. So you've probably heard data.gov in the US is a website you can go and access all sorts of government data, federal government information. On this screen you can see, for example, how to choose a college. So in the public education system, you can choose what degrees you want to do, what subjects you want to master in, extracurricular activities, all sorts of details. And it goes and it mines government data on the education facilities and returns to you the colleges that you should look at. Similarly, looking at land use, where you want to place your new factory, where you want to place your new facility, what the impact on the environment could be, where you have to be more careful, less careful, more sensitive areas, all available because the US federal government opened up via APIs to its own data. In fact, right here in New South Wales, last week I saw the RTA is opening up, the Transport Authority of the state government is opening up its data for a hackathon so that anyone can go and access the data from the state government, from the transport information, and start to build new applications. Because innovation happens better when you get more people involved. You get more people thinking about innovation, you get better ideas coming out. And this is the sort of thing that happened in the state of New York a couple of years ago. They did the same thing. They opened up for a hackathon, let anyone access this data through the APIs, secure, managed. They came out with 5 new applications that they hadn't even thought about, And they did it all essentially for free, while providing a really attractive interaction and engagement with their customers, the citizens of New York. So these governments are opening up to different ways to service citizens using software by enabling this application economy that Hope was talking about. Applications are fundamentally changing the world of business all around us. So we see, for example, in the television movie entertainment business, companies like Netflix and Hulu and Roku, now Amazon as well, are providing multiple ways to access movies and television shows and other things, and they're changing the way that television companies, cable companies, content creators are dealing with media. In banking and finance, we see portable payment methods like Square, like Google Wallet, fundamentally changing and undermining the practices of traditional banking. And we'll hear more about that again when Gert Leonhard gets up and tells us all about the future he's seen. In the transportation industry, businesses like Uber, Lyft, car sharing services are fundamentally changing the way we get around town. Understanding that hire cars and taxis are not always what people want. They've found a niche and filled it with software. There's nothing different about the cars that Lyft are using. There's nothing different about the cars that Uber are using. The software is what is changing the transportation industry. And similarly in accommodations. People like Airbnb, HomeAway, they're allowing people to rent out individual rooms in their apartments, in their houses, in their holiday places, so that you can just jump online, find the right place, in the right location, rent it online, pay online, and it's changing the hotel industry. And you know these things are real when governments start legislating about them. And we see that. For example, in Seattle, in San Francisco, they're introducing new legislation in government to regulate the use of these shared ride services. Because there's different liability requirements, different insurance requirements. They don't have to pay to get medallions for their taxis. Some would say there's rent seeking happening. Others would say there's innovation. Others would say there's liability and responsibility taking the fall. But when governments legislate, you know it's real. Same in New York City. The state government of New York is legislating so that hotels are not being affected as badly as they might be by people just renting out their entire house. They're saying, well, if you have to stay there, you have to be there. Otherwise, you're running a hotel and you are subject to all sorts of different legislation. So you know these applications are really changing the world of business, the world of government, because we see the impact on society as well as on business. Now, applications dominate the mobile web. When people jump on their mobile devices, smartphones, tablets, and so forth, predominantly they're using applications to get to the web. They're not using the web browser, they're not using websites nearly as much. And you can see this trend is actually increasing. So from 20% using web browsers versus 80% using apps, that's actually increasing the use of apps this year to 86%. But mobile is just part of the application economy. So certainly we see desktops still dominating access to applications and services from various companies. Yes, mobile is important and it's growing phenomenally. But we've got to understand, desktops are still important. More importantly, it's a multi-platform world. People aren't just using their smartphone. They're not just using their desktop. They're using the whole lot. And in fact, they're using other devices too. I'm a gamer. I access Netflix through my Xbox. It's easy. Sometimes I'll access Hulu through my TV because smart TVs are coming to the fore. And we're actually starting to see businesses connect with consumers on the devices that they're using. Game consoles, smart TVs, e-readers, and more. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Now we start to see the Internet of Things. Everything is going to be connected to the Internet. Something like 15 trillion devices by 2020, sensors in everything, applications everywhere. So I've talked a little bit about already televisions, smart TVs, game consoles, cars, the internet fridge. It's more than just a display on the screen. It's actually counting your calories in and out. I'm not really sure I'm happy about that. Medical devices. So it used to be that the nurses, the doctors would wander around the ward. They'd go from room to room to room. They'd typically wake you up at 3 o'clock in the morning to ask if you want a sleeping tablet. They don't have to do that anymore. They sit in their central area and they're monitoring everything from one place. So they're more efficient, costs go down, care goes up. Care goes up when you have personal monitoring devices as well. Think about Fitbits, fuel bands, monitoring things like your heart rate when you're running, when you're jogging, and so forth. Oh, interesting side note, Nike is now a data company. So we all know Nike does shoes and clothing and apparel and all that sort of stuff. It's now a data company. Tracking where you are with the fuel band, understanding where you and thousands and hundreds of thousands of other people wearing fuel bands, where they run, where they stop, where they want to get a drink, where they want to go to a juice bar, where they want to buy a coffee from Starbucks, selling that data to other providers because that's really valuable information. We also see things like dogs getting chipped, GPS chips, track your dog from place to place. I had a border collie that used to have a herding instinct, would go down the neighbour's place and herd her geese every day. I didn't even know for 2 months until I introduced myself. Oh, you're the owner of that nice border that comes down and herds my geese. The Internet of Cows. This is a thing. So cows now, farmers, are chipping their cows, providing not just tracking information for where they are, but understanding things like what is their heart rate, what is their blood pressure, what is their glucose level, understanding whether they're sick or well, understanding maybe whether they need a different feed, if they need to bring them into the barn, warm them up, take care of them. The Internet of Cows is actually a thing. And it's all accessible via software, via application programming interfaces. So the application economy is not just the applications you build, it's the interfaces you make available to your ecosystem. But internal applications still matter. It's not just about everything new. 81% of bank customers actually want to go into a branch for certain things. A lot of younger people especially avoid the branch and do everything on their smartphone, but at some point, you want to get a mortgage, you want to get loan advice, you want to get financial information, you want to speak to a person. A lot of it's to do with trust, and we'll hear more about that later on as well. The idea of going in and talking to people, and the people you talk to in a bank branch are using that bank's internal applications. And there's nothing worse than sitting there waiting for financial advice when your financial advisor sits there and goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, my computer's a bit slow today." 69% of consumers are now engaging in something called web rooming. So showrooming was when we used to go into a big store and we'd look around and we'd see what was there, and then we'd jump on our smartphones and we'd buy it online. Trend's reversing. Turns out people like to research online and then go in store to buy. And they're interacting with the people in store who are using that business's internal applications. And if 50 to 90% of your IT budget is still being spent on existing systems, keeping the lights on, you've got to know that's important, and you need to be able to handle and manage those applications efficiently. And security should never be an afterthought. You may recognize this large retailer from the US. The CIO had to leave the business because of a data breach. Not just the CIO, also the CEO. That's an impact. But look at the cost. So a material drop in stock price caused by a security breach. 17 million in net expenses, $61 million in total expense, wiped off their books, actually paid out in compensation. And you know why? One password. 8 characters. 8 characters cost this business 2 of their senior executives and $61 million and almost 6 points off their stock price. Now, when the average cost of a breach is $4.4 million, and by the way, a lot of my customers look at that and go, oh, that's a little bit low. You've got to know, security cannot be an afterthought. At every step in delivering these application services to customers, you've got to understand the security implication. You've got to provide trust that you're going to handle your customers' data safely. So how can we help? Today you'll learn all about how we can help, but I want to give you a quick overview so you know where to start. Firstly, you need to be able to drive value out of your existing IT investments. You need to be able to free up the innovation dividend. If we're spending 50 to 90% of budget on keeping the lights on, we haven't got much left to build new applications and drive new innovation. So free up that innovation dividend by driving efficiency, leveraging IT's existing investments, and adding value. So CA is going to help you do that with our management cloud. We're going to help you to gain insight into your existing portfolio of applications. Let business leaders understand the value of IT. Understand across physical, across mobile, across cloud. What are you doing well? Where are you providing great service? Where is IT adding business value? And where perhaps can someone else help you? When should you move into the cloud? When you should adopt a service provider? When you should maybe use some SaaS offerings? And we're going to do that by helping you understand your portfolio through portfolio and project management, which is also going to help you understand your cost basis. We're going to do it through service management. So you know when you're delivering good service and you know how much it's costing. So that when you go to your CEO, you can have a frank conversation about where you add value and why. And of course, enterprise mobility management. Being able to enable your mobile workforce, deliver those mobile apps, build new systems of engagement and innovation that are going to bring customers in and bring them into your business. This is the sort of thing we've already done here in Australia many times, for example, with Qantas, using CA Clarity On Demand, our portfolio management solution, available on demand as a SaaS solution, being able to understand where is the budget, what is the portfolio, what is the value that they were providing. Pick the right winners within your business and show that value. So you can plan, you can budget with accuracy and control. The second of the 3 areas I want to talk about is DevOps. This is a relatively new area with the collaboration of development and operations, allowing you to accelerate time to market for these new exciting applications that are going to bring new business in and being able to do it faster, better, and cheaper. They say in development, faster, better, cheaper, choose 2. Or with CA Technologies, choose 3. So we're going to help there by streamlining this software development lifecycle from start to finish. Starting with collaborative planning. Bring the business into your planning phases. Bring operations into development. Continuous delivery of new capabilities. Not 6-month, 12-month waterfall releases. Do agile development, start with a minimum viable product. Your business gets their ideas into production quickly, and then just like on your smartphone today, update, 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 update. Continuous delivery of continuous innovation. And putting it into operations and closing the feedback loop. Validating at every release that you've got the right things happening, that you're not suffering from bugs, that your performance is where it needs to be. And of course, at every point along that curve, continuous security. Allowing developers to get access to the systems they need to the data they need to create these new exciting applications, but making sure that you're maintaining privacy, security, data control, and the trust of your customers. And we do that through 3 key solution areas. Application delivery provides areas like test automation, service virtualization, release automation, data mining to close that feedback loop. APM, the application performance management, understands where the root cause of problems is, helps you track those. And you've got to know, if you're delivering new applications into your business once a week, once a day, you have to know straight away if there are any problems at all so that you can fix them. And the infrastructure is still critical. Even if you're running it on someone else's infrastructure, it's still there. So you've got to know, what are your costs? Costs of power, heating, cooling, floor space, but also the performance of the machines. So again, you understand capacity, you understand availability, and so you can deliver that high quality service with these new applications and continue to iterate and make things better and better and better and drive that competitive advantage through these exciting new applications. And the third, like we've done with ANZ Bank here in Australia, by the way, using performance management as part of your development cycle lets you take bugs out before they hit production. And so in ANZ's case, we see them going from 10 to 15 high severity incidents into production, cutting that back to 1 or 2. You're always going to make some mistakes in complex software development, but that sort of reduction in bug count is the difference between getting customers and losing them. And we'll hear a lot more about that with other banks here in Australia, like the National Australia Bank, and you can visit and hear all about their story in one of the breakout sessions today. And finally, the third area of our solution strategy that's going to help you own the future is this security. Absolutely critical to optimize that experience securely, regardless of where you put your applications, in the cloud, on mobile, on mainframe, across the entire internal and external ecosystem. It's important to understand security cannot be a roadblock anymore. We've got to enable people to move through the process. We can't stop them. Security is not the Department of No anymore, it's the Department of No. So it's as much about engaging the marketplace, enabling ecosystems, opening up ecosystems to API developers, hackathons, securely, safely, in a managed way, and defending and protecting, but not closing down. Because in the age of the open enterprise, security must enable business, not prevent it. And so we're going to help you there. By understanding the identities of the people coming into your systems. Who are they? Where do they work? What are they allowed to do? And controlling that access and enabling that access. Similarly with data, understanding what data is in your organization, who can get access to what, when, where, why, and how, and enabling that access. And absolutely enabling that API ecosystem through API management. So that you can do things like hackathons. You can open up your data. You can drive the sort of innovation that many, many brains coming together can deliver. This is just what we've done with BT. Here and around the globe, we've been able to reduce for them the number of security providers, eliminating 80 point solutions because we do so much for them. And oh, by the way, reducing their cost by £15 million. It's important that you do all of this on all platforms. A lot of people talk about mobile. Mobile's absolutely critical. A lot of people talk about cloud. Cloud is absolutely critical. But what about all your other systems? Cloud computing, for example, we're enabling you to use our software as SaaS. So you can sign up easily, get the benefit of shared services. We're providing a SaaS platform that connects into your system and your environment, whether in the cloud or in your enterprise apps, providing a common basis of data transfer, user services, provisioning, onboarding, offboarding, integration of data across different applications available from CA Technologies, so that you get the benefits of the latest upgrades straight away without having to plan out a 6-month upgrade rollout, because we do all that for you. And with mobile interfaces, social interfaces built in, common data fabric, to let you get value out of IT faster in the cloud. Similarly, mobility. Now, mobility is more than just bring your own device. Absolutely, we support that. Enterprise mobility management, to be able to have not just mobile device management, mobile application management, mobile content management, mobile email management, so that your staff are secure and safe, but they can still use their devices. It's still open for them to use. You should absolutely check out these solutions. But there's more. You need to be able to build new mobile applications. You have to be using DevOps to build new applications today. Otherwise, you're going to be way behind your competitors by the time you release. So we have solutions for mobile DevOps, specific DevOps solutions that help you build, test, deliver, and iterate in mobile development environments. And we provide our solutions on mobile too. So for example, the new CA Clarity Playbook, purpose-built for a tablet. Many of our solutions are becoming mobile-enabled. You can log service desk tickets through CA NIMSoft Service Desk right there on your smartphone. We're enabling you to use mobile. Why should our customers be the only ones who benefit from mobile devices? Why shouldn't IT and business leaders have access to inside information through their smartphones, through their tablets? And of course, System Z. I'm in Australia now. System Z. I've gone local, haven't I? The mainframe is a critical part of anyone's business who has one. Interestingly, I hear a theory that the smartphone is the new 3270. I know I log into my bank. If I want to deposit a check, I use my smartphone app. I take a photo of the check. It goes to my bank. You reckon that's getting processed on an x86 box? No, that's going to a mainframe. The smartphone is the new 3270. And the mainframe is becoming part of this dynamic data center. People are using the mainframe for cloud computing. They're using it for big data, predictive analytics, to deliver these new applications as the back end for the new systems. The mainframe is being reinvigorated, and we're helping with mainframe modernization solutions that actually let new graduates come in and operate the mainframe faster and more effectively than 30, 40-year veterans like me. Make the mainframe part of your modern data center, and CA Technologies will help with all sorts of solutions, a market leader in just about every category. And we're also doing things like enabling you to get faster time to experience. So here's one example, CA NIMSoft Snap. CA NIMSoft Snap is available for download. You can try before you buy, and you can do it for free. When did you think you'd hear that in a keynote from CA Technologies? Free software. Because we think it's so good that once you try it, we think you will buy it. So being able to download, try before you buy, fast experience, fast time to value, great look and feel, community support, all optimized for SaaS. This is the new world of fast delivery. Speed up, new application delivery, own that future. This is our solution strategy across those three key areas: management cloud, DevOps, security. The key solutions in each category across cloud and mobile and mainframe and every platform you have. This is what we mean when we talk about business rewritten by software. Everything from planning to development to management to security. CA Technologies is going to help you fuel the transformation you need to make to survive and thrive in the application economy and to own the future. So, thank you for coming today. I would ask you to please enjoy the day, talk with CA Technologies, with my colleagues, talk with our partners, visit all our booths. The breakout sessions, there's some fantastic speakers. I'm excited to have you here. I'm excited to be here. Thank you very much. Welcome to CA Expo 2014.
Thank you.